Um, in college basketball, so it was an interesting story that has been developing within college basketball, um, but more elite NBA draft prospects choosing college basketball from overseas. Talking about all the European leagues, like the Spanish and French leagues. The top young men's basketball players are leaving their European pro teams because over there they're professionals and coming to America to play in the NCAA. And a lot of this is thanks to NIL. We've talked about it so much in the past on this show. Um, but this is just so good for college basketball and for the NBA because it's been so many straight years that myself, I may know one or two players at the top of the draft board when the NBA draft comes around, and the rest, like if you look at last year's draft, and it was Zachary Risache and Alexander Sarr. Like, who are these guys? We don't know these guys. We haven't been watching them play because they weren't playing in college basketball. They were playing overseas, and I think the fact that we're seeing all these guys come over to the American game, into the college basketball. We're seeing more players stay in college because of NIL because they can get paid outside of the top guys, the Cooper Flags, right, who are going to jump ship to the NBA as soon as they can. But for a lot of guys who are going to be one or two, they're staying because they know they'll get some guaranteed couple $1 million while they're still playing college basketball, and we get to see them a lot more. We get to follow them, develop. We get invested into them, and once they go to the NBA, we already know them. And I just think this is not only great for college basketball, but it's great for the NBA game as well.
Absolutely. Now, the funny thing is, this year's draft is, if this wasn't a story, this year's
Mostly
draft,
domestic, right?
it really is. It's like no European, all from America, all played college basketball. Now, a couple of them played for bad teams, like Ace Bailey and Ron Harper. That Rutgers was really bad, but still, you could see him on TV easy if you live in America. Yeah, it's huge. I like the fact that they did play in the professional leagues in Europe too. So, like, because I mean, the NBA is a global market. So, I mean, people in Europe watch the NBA, so they might know these guys from there, and then go to college basketball, which if these European guys are coming to college basketball with the NIL, you could say that it's college basketball is kind of in a renaissance period where guys are getting paid. Uh, Now the best young players are in your league, if you call it that now. And
Pretty much.
yeah, and yeah, it's great. It's great for basketball as a whole. Yes, I do think the NBA has had issues with these European players. No disrespect to them, but it's harder for your biggest audience, which is the United States, to connect with these players when they first come into the league. It takes a lot for them to win over the American population. Like what Giannis, who was the 15th overall pick. No one really knew who he was. It took a couple of years for him to develop, but once he developed, once he realized, okay, this guy's going to be a superstar, that's what it took to win him over. Now, guys will be drafted. They might become role players, like they could just become role players. But like, hey, I remember that guy in college. Yeah, he was good for my team, and it's easier to root for guys like that. So yeah, great for the sport. I hope this trend continues. This is one good thing that NIL has done. I believe there's lots of positives, lots of negatives with NIL. We could do a whole podcast on that, but
But yeah,
this is certainly one positive from that.
I mean, you mentioned Giannis. It took me up until probably a couple of years ago to come around on Luca. Like, I didn't really know him coming into the league, and that another situation much like it. Obviously, now he's one of the most notable guys in the league, but it did take me a while to come around on him. But
Well, and another thing with him is that like people like the scouts from Europe are saying, "Oh, he's like really good. Like he could become like an all around like all
right,
time great talent."
yeah,
And I'm like, I was skeptical. Like I've never heard of this guy.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like
he's sure Europeans have been good in the past with guys like Dirk and Giannis is looking good, but I don't know. Like things could happen. But then, yeah, it took a couple of years, but like, okay, yeah, they were right. So,
And that's what I'm talking about. Like
yep.
if he'd have played 2-3 years in college at like North Carolina, or if he, any of these top programs that he would have ultimately probably gone to, we would have been able to follow him, and we've been able to follow his career. And once he went to the draft, we'd be looking for his name on the draft board. So I think that this is just great for the league. Obviously, we've talked about in the past how I've felt, at least, about Adam Silver and his almost kind of demonizing of college basketball, because he hasn't taken the NFL approach to all of this. He started his own G League, all that, and making that more of a priority, and going after and making the European players more of a priority than getting it domestic. But yeah, like I said, this is great, and it's a reason why the NFL is so great, because we watch all these guys in college for 3-4 years, and then we get to see them drafted and do really well and be ready for the NFL. And it's like a lot of these guys aren't usually ready for the NBA, and it takes them time to develop. Once they are drafted, they don't make an immediate impact. But it's another reason why NIL has been one of the positives of the NIL is that it is keeping guys in college, so that they can develop under some of the best coaches in the country. So yeah, I think great story coming out of college basketball, and it's gonna positively affect both leagues.